Hi, TW Hiddleston the Loon here again. I was talking to Patty, Blue Dreams, White Pearls, and she had mentioned that she really liked my accent, which I think most Americans are like, oh, we have awful accents, and many other countries think, oh, they're so lovely. Like, a guy friend of mine from England who says that he likes to date American women because he likes their accent, and I'm like, you're crazy? I think we just I think it's the fact that accents are kind of exotic and sexy. And to us an American accent isn't sexy. I have to admit I did date a man from Georgia who had a very, very lovely southern accent and it was really hot, I have to admit. So I think for us, even though we possibly think, oh, an Eastern accent, kind of like Brooklyn, New York, I'm not entirely sure if there's any other places over on the East Coast that have accents that are very distinct. But something like that if you're from the Midwest or West Coast. Pardon, I just had a drink of pop and now I'm all burping. I think if it's an accent that isn't near you, you think it's sexy because it's different. Very similar to how I think, people with British accents or Spanish or French or whatever, German, sound very sexy because it's very different from what I'm used to. So I thought it was super funny that she liked my accent, and it reminded me of my guy friend who loves women with American accents. So anyway, so I told her, I was like, yeah, I have a very heavy Wisconsin accent. She's like, what do you mean? Well, because I'm from Wisconsin, Wisconsin has a very distinct way of speaking. It's kind of almost Canadian, if anyone is from Canada. Not saying that Canadians sound like this, but Wisconsin is very interesting because we kind of chew our words. Our mouths are very spread out when we speak. R's are very R, and we typically sound very nasally for whatever reason, and it's a stereotype for Wisconsin, which is kind of funny and very similar to Minnesota, which, if you can tell when I say things that have like long O's, like Minnesota, joke, no, moose. I tend to sound like that. Obviously, I'm exaggerating more so you can hear it. But no, that's pretty typically how I sound when I say those words. Honestly, my sister will be like, "What?" and I'll be like, "Moose," and she's like, "What?" because she thinks it's funny. 'Cause she's from California. She stayed there till she was in her 20s, so she doesn't have quite a harsh accent living here in the Midwest as I do because I've lived here most of my life. But some phrases that are very typical for Wisconsin is, don't you know? And hey, you betcha. I've actually used both of those in a sentence, like without trying to. It was really funny. In Wisconsin, a lot of the times we'll call drinking fountains bubblers. Not that we say it weird, bubbler, where's the bubbler? I'm gonna go to the bubbler real quick. I don't know why. I say it here in South Dakota, no one knows what I'm talking about, but I say it in Wisconsin. People are like, oh yeah, down the hall, or okay, take the hall pass. Also, I've been told I say Wisconsin and Minnesota and Illinois. It's Illinois, not Illinois, because I used to do that all the time, and that happens a lot in Wisconsin. Again, it's not everyone says it, but it happens. Also, oh, football. A lot of Wisconsinites. That's what we're called, Wisconsinites. Like the Packers, like football, and oftentimes you hear, oh, the Bears or the Packers. Again, it's one of those things that people say for whatever reason. I say it sometimes. Generally, it's really just a slip of the tongue. Let's see what else. There's a lot of like phrases that people say that are weird. In Wisconsin, whenever you say, "Oh, I'm going West River," it usually means west of the Mississippi, so Minnesota, South Dakota, and on. Where in South Dakota, if you say West River, you're meaning west of the Missouri, which is just the other half of the state. That's something that I've had troubles with. I'll be like, oh, I'm going East River, or, East River, and they're like, but you're already East River because you live in, I live east of the Missouri, and I was like, no, I'm going east of the Mississippi. That's another just geographical thing that's kind of funny. I actually grew up on the Mississippi, went swimming in it, fishing, So it's kind of funny to hear people say, oh, we're going West River, and I'm like, we already are. Where are you going? But yeah, no. So just some silly things that I do from Wisconsin. Also, I don't know if this is a restaurant in Europe or anything, so I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but for those in the US who know these Qdoba, I have a lot of friends of mine that laugh because I say Qdoba or Qdoba or however you want to pronounce it, and they always think I sound super adorable because we generally go either really, really late, right before they're closing, or we go super early in the morning because we're college kids and we have no life. So we go at like random times. I'm like, let's go to Qdoba, and they're like, oh, you're so adorable, and I was like, ugh. I was like, Qdoba, Quadoba, whatever the fuck. And apparently I sound funny when I swear. My friends think it's hilarious. I mean, I probably shouldn't swear as much as I do. Because, I don't know. I've had people get mad at me when I swear because they're like, oh, you shouldn't swear, you're a lady. And I'm like, how is any of this lady class material at all? I mean, hell. I used to walk around barefoot in a cow pasture and didn't give a fuck if I stepped in a cow shit. Generally, it was horse shit, but I guess that's another thing about Wisconsin is children run around barefoot all the time. I did. All the time. Didn't matter if it was horse shit, horse piss, mud, dirt, whatever. And then out here, that's like, oh, you have to put your boots on. And I was like, why? I'm going to go out barefoot. Why waste the time to put shoes on if I can already go outside and be riding my horse? But yeah, no. So, yeah. You wouldn't think, from Wisconsin to South Dakota there would be that much of a difference. Because there's only one state in between Minnesota. Super boring drive, 352 miles between the two. I've made it enough times to where it's the most boring thing, so I try to speed through as much as I can instead of wasting 6 hours on the road trying to cut it down to 4. Note to anyone out there, do not speed. It's not good. 5 over is okay, but don't follow what I do. Do not speed, because you can get into a car accident, or you can get pulled over and get ticketed, which is not cool. Knock on wood. Never been pulled over. Only time I've ever got into a car accident was not my fault. I got rear-ended. So we've learned today that I have a funny accent, and I'm a bad influence by boycotting shoes and speeding. I'm gonna go finish up lunch, so it's noon here, so I hope all of you have a good day, good morning, good afternoon, good night, whatever time it is. I'm gonna go finish lunch and stop talking. Bye.